Yo, what is up, guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and this time we're talking about ecology in BDO, what it does for you, how to get it, as well as what are the buffs you can have in order to help you obtain it quicker. Now, what ecology does in BDO is it gives you permanent item drop rate chance, and this is useful for if you are somebody that primarily makes your money through killing mobs throughout the world. It gives you up to a 20% bonus in item drop rate. So if you open up your H key menu for your knowledge, it'll tell you what your ecology effect is, and if you were able to surpass 8,000 points, you can get an item drop rate of 20%, which is the maximum. And there's actually a little list if you hover over this question mark that shows you that the lower your current points, the lower your item drop rate chance. And it does get a little harder past around 5,000 points. So a lot of people will go up to around 5,000, 6,000 and then sort of stop from there. But in general, I do think that it is worth going all the way to 20%. It takes, if you have every single buff possible and you're actively going for knowledge following this guide, it is going to take a little over 50 to 60 hours in order to get the full 8,000 if you're starting from very fresh. And this also does depend a little bit on if you have good gear score, because some mobs are going to be harder to kill. You are going to have to kill some mobs in like Histria and Aukman, for example. So if you're around soft cap, you should have no problem getting the full 8,000. But if you're lower gear than that, I would probably suggest stopping around 6,000. Now, essentially, the way that you gain these points is through getting grades of knowledges on killing mobs. So if you kill a grass beetle and you get 10%, you get an S knowledge, you get 10 points. If you kill a beehive and you get A+, you get 5 points. So that is a cumulative total of 15. So every single unique mob you kill gives you points depending on your knowledge, and that will give you your cumulative total points. Of all of the different points in the game, there's about 12,000 total points to be obtained, so you really only need 8,000. So you can skip a lot of mobs. Some of the harder mobs that have very small amounts of spawns, or they're just like really annoying to kill, or maybe they're too hard to kill, you can just leave. And the easier mobs are the ones that I definitely suggest getting S knowledges on, the ones that there's plenty of, the ones that have very high chance to gain knowledge on, as well as, just appropriate for your gear score, essentially. So the best way to do this is through using a website called Bdo Codex. So if you go to Bdo Codex, you'll notice that in the database section under knowledge, you can go here, and in their ecology section, they've got a very, very useful system going on here. Now, the way that I did knowledge in BDO is I would start in Balanos, and then I would just go all the way down the list through Calphion, through Serendia, through Media, through the easier parts of Valencia. That is where I would start. And then if you still need more, that's probably when I'd start dipping into more of the Comasylvian area and maybe Dregan and, going to Aukman and Histria, places like that. But I would start very easy. Now, I pretty much just followed this list all the way down. So you can start with Balanos, Serendia, Calphion. You skip over bosses because it's very difficult. You go to Media, then Valencia. So you pretty much just follow this list all the way down. And it's super easy to follow through this website. So if you go to Ecology of Eastern Balanos, you start off with the beasts, and you can go to, for example, the baby boar. You can open it in a new tab, and you'll notice that it tells you the chance of obtaining the knowledge is 30%. So that's a pretty high rate. And if you scroll down, it actually gives you a map that shows you exactly where all the spawns are of this mob. So it makes it really easy to find them and make a rotation out of them. And this is a particular mob that has a lot of different spawns, and it's something you can make a rotation out of. And this is a good candidate to get S knowledge on. And so once you get S knowledge on it, you can check it off, go to Stoneback Crab, open that one in a new tab, scroll down, see where its spawns are. You could definitely make a rotation out of this. It's a little bit spread out, so some people may not get S knowledge on this. I personally did, but you don't need to. If you think that this is too spread out and annoying, you don't have to. You can just get any knowledge on it and move on. So once you're done with that mob, you can check it off. And basically, you just systematically go down this list, and you find out where the spawns are, and you make a rotation out of it, and you just continue to go down this list, checking it off as you get S knowledges. So really, really nice interactive website that's super easy. All of these are mobs that I would probably get S knowledge on, but certain mobs I would advise against it. So if you were to go to Serendia and you check out, for example, the Bighorn Triangle Head Salamander, if you open it up, you'll notice that there's really only 4 spawns of this mob. So it's really tough to make a rotation out of this, which means you're going to have to be waiting for spawns a lot of the time. So this is definitely a mob I would not go for S knowledge on. It's something that I would completely just omit because there's too few of them. Same thing with, for example, the Serendia Bear. If you check this out, you'll notice that, well, there's only 5 spawns. It's kind of spread out. I can't make a rotation out of it. I would skip it. You have a lot of wiggle room in order to pick and choose the easiest mobs to go for. And for every difficult mob, there's like 2 to 3 very easy mobs. So for example, the cuckoo bird. Why would I go around going and trying to farm 5 bears when I could go farm S knowledge on cuckoo birds, which have, you know, over 100 different spawn locations? You definitely have to pick your battles when it comes to getting ecology, and that's why looking at each individual mob and checking out their spawn locations helps you know which ones are worth getting S on and which are only worth getting any grade of knowledge on. So you're going to want to go through, check the maps on everything, make sure that as you're going down the list, there's a ton of spawns, it's easy, and skip over the ones that are too hard. You can always come back if you notice that you haven't quite hit 8K and maybe something you skipped over is, you know, not hard to get, but maybe you're just struggling with it. You could always just skip over it and come back later. But the website remembers everything as long as you're not deleting your cookies and stuff. So if you were to check these off and come back later, they'll stay checked off. So super, super nice, and definitely recommend you follow through there. Now, something else that is super useful in the game is actually called the Elixir of Oblivion. This is traditionally to erase knowledge, but you can get it in the loyalty section of the Pearl Shop. This is something that I used in order to keep track of what I currently have knowledge on. So if you go to Ecology of Eastern Balanos and Beasts, let's say I'm starting here. This allows you to see a list of all of your different grades of knowledges while you're farming. So you can keep this list up, you can farm, and you can keep track of what you have S knowledges on already, what you need knowledge on, and it's a very, very useful way for you to keep track of everything while you're grinding with a reference directly on your screen. So oftentimes I would just open this up and have it next to me while I'm going for something, and that way there I can keep a good track of what I do and do not have already. So definitely recommend buying one of these for 25 loyalty, just so you can keep it on the side. Now, let's talk about buffs in order to help you get your ecology faster. So there's not very many buffs. The list is very, very, I guess, limited, but this is the best you can do. So if you're going to go into your G menu here and you go to your guild skill, if you're an officer or if you are in a guild that has this skill right here, Scholarly Ambition, it gives you a 60-minute buff for a knowledge gain chance of plus 15%. And then there's Endless Exploration, which has a higher grade knowledge chance of plus 2% for 60 minutes. These buffs can't be used all the time, but if they're available and your officer is online or you're an officer and you have the Pledge of the Blood that you need, you can just activate these when you're going for particularly difficult mobs, or maybe if you're only doing an hour a day, it's perfect just to pop it and start using it. In terms of buffs from the Pearl Shop, there are earrings, which give a higher grade knowledge chance of plus 5%, as well as glasses, which gives a chance to gain knowledge plus 50%. Sometimes they've given these items away in things like the daily attendance reward, so maybe you have them, but I don't think they've done that for quite some time, so you may have to actually pay some pearls in order to get these. I don't necessarily think it's necessary, but it'll definitely help you along your way if you plan to go to 8,000. So, moving on to Savage Drafts. This is a consumable draft which gives you a plus 12% knowledge gain chance and a higher grade plus 7%. So definitely recommend having some of these. They last for 15 minutes, so rather affordable. As well as simple cron meals. They got 10% knowledge gain chance and the 5% higher grade. And then we've got the chocolates here. These are from a Valentine's Day event, so you may or may not have these depending on when you were playing, but they give a knowledge gain chance of plus 7% and a higher grade of plus 3. Now, the only other thing that gives you knowledge grade chance is your pets, generally birds, but there are other mobs, or other pets, I should say, that give you knowledge gain chance. You just look at these little icons, and if they have the little head that shows an up arrow, depending on your tier of pet, so for example, tier 4s give you a 20% knowledge gain chance, tier 3s give you plus 15, and then the tier 2s give you plus 10, and tier 1s are plus 5. So if you have these pets, make sure that they're out and they're active, so that way there you can get a greater chance of getting knowledge. But other than those things, guys, that is pretty much an exhaustive list of what you need to do in order to get knowledge gain. And hopefully this helps you guys out. And I appreciate everybody who watched the video. So thanks, guys, and have a great day.